got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. I don't wanna watch TV. I don't even wanna be with me. I don't wanna do anything. I don't wanna do anything. Anything. Well, I got mindless contentment. Yes, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. I know, no, I never know, I never know, I know, no, I never know, I never know. Well, I got mindless contentment. Yes, I got mindless contentment. I don't wanna watch TV. I don't even wanna be with me. I don't wanna do anything. I don't wanna do anything.
Anything.
Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. What do you got? Well, I got mindless contentment. I know, I know, I never know, I never know, I know, I know, I never know, I never know. Well, I know.
What's up? Jay, what's up, brother? Jay has some good herb he's getting into. Like to hear that. I have been... I always hesitate yapping about this shit because, you know, the chuds are always looking for something. TV's falling apart. I've had a little anxiety lately, so I haven't been doing my dabs. I think I did one earlier before I took and that helped me nap. Peg, what's up? Cheers to you. So we had Trump had a press room presser today. Or he joined, took over the show, of course. Joined Caroline full of shit. And I guess did a fucking 2-hour fucking rant session. We're gonna view some of it because well, I haven't done it in a little while. Every once in a while I like to pick apart his nonsense. I don't know. Rarely do I get through it all, but yeah. Should we do a little poll question though first? There's our poll. Macaroni is in the house. What's up, brother? Cheers to you. So I ask, will Trump invade Mexico? And I think I don't know. I think he will probably will. I mean, he's talking about stopping drugs coming in through land, so my guess is that's what's going to happen, or that's what he's going to try and make happen. We'll see, right? I don't know if I'm ready for this or not. Maybe we'll just yap for a minute longer. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up or down. Share with those you love, those you don't. Subscribe and ring the all bell if you haven't. I appreciate you. You can also reach me by emailing the channel at tv2media@outlook.com. tv2media@outlook. Holy, I'm struggling here a minute. My windows keep disappearing. All right. Got that up there. Had to share with the ding dong schlongs. I just want to read through some of Jay's comment. Oh, I can't. God damn it. That's fucked up. I already can't get at them all. Wait a minute. Yeah. I can't scroll all the way up, I guess. Jay says that Trump gave the largest tax cut to the rich 1%, a whopping 81% to the richest 1%, a whopping 83% of the reward. He cut $20 million off their health care. We cut food aid for poor and stopped programs that forgive student loans. And now MAGA is talking about buying Greenland. Do they even hear themselves? It's fucking madness. It's like White House chat is making federal policy. He will add at least $12 million in debt this 4-year term because the rich stop paying revenue and he is spending way more than we'll bring in. He will literally be responsible for half of America's debt. Those tariffs will magically disappear into Middle Eastern banks. Like the money from that Venezuela oil he used our military to pirate. Absolutely. So, and I didn't get a lot of people to bite, even some couldn't get Dems to see it, but you know, there is a part of me that feels that if Trump has the opportunity to benefit off the drug trafficking from Venezuela, he will. I know that's going to be like, really? TV? I mean, he doesn't care about the drugs coming into the country. It's a fucking farce, right? Like I don't know how better to explain it. He can sit up there and say he wants to stop drugs and blah, 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 while behind the scenes he's doing the old bait and switch, going in, arresting Maduro, and then leaving Maduro's VP in power, right? I mean, that doesn't make sense. Unless you're trying to benefit off what's happening financially. So, and I see that. I mean, there's no reason to not think that Trump wouldn't line his pockets in any way possible. I mean, it's just what he does. So, there's that. And to Jay's point, the money just get transferred into Trump's personal Qatar account. So, Qatar. Oh my God, that's funny. Sin says she owns as many houses and cars as degrees she's earned. So, 0, I guess. So, Sin doesn't own anything, apparently. All right, let's get into it. What the fuck, right?
Anniversary, January 20th, and it's been an amazing period of time. We have a book that I'm not going to read to you, but these are the accomplishments of what we've produced. All page after page after page.
Oh man, this is gonna be tough, isn't it? He's got a whole motherfucking paper clip full of fucking papers there, and he's gonna look through them real quick and just kind of eye over all his accomplishments. We've been more successful at covering up crimes than any administration in history.
Individual things. I could stand here and read it for a week and we wouldn't be finished.
Because it's all bullshit. You could fucking go, yeah, it'd be more than a week. I mean, I'm assuming you could stand there until the fucking cows come home and you wouldn't be finished because you just make up a lot of bullshit, like the 8 wars. Like, I don't know if it was Norway's PM that questioned what fucking wars Trump ended, but yeah.
But we've done more than any other administration has done by far in terms of military, in terms of ending wars, in terms of completing wars. Nobody's really seen very much like it. I think it's
yeah, nobody's ever seen anything like it because there was nothing to see.
Appropriate that because Minnesota is so much in the fray, and I say to my people all the time, and they're so busy doing other things, they don't say it like they should. They're apprehending murderers and drug dealers
and American citizens, and they're stopping off-duty officers of the brown skin nature. And then when they find out they're officers, they're fucking releasing them without saying anything, any explanation. In fact, ICE agents pulled over a Minneapolis off-duty police officer, a black woman, and what happened is she was driving by an ICE convoy, and they ended up boxing her in. Is all she was doing was driving by. She wasn't out there fucking trying to. I mean, she's a police officer. She wasn't out there trying to document what they're doing. They're all over the place. There's more than 3,000 of them in the Minneapolis area. So they boxed her in, forced her out of a car when she, was trying to, get through to them, which we've all seen is nearly impossible. And she realized that things weren't going well, and she started to be concerned for her safety. She pulled out her phone to start recording, and the ICE agent knocked the phone out of her hand so she couldn't record for her own safety. And finally she broke and said, "Look, I'm a Minneapolis police officer." And they immediately turned and left without saying anything to her. This has happened over and over. We've had a half a dozen police chiefs reporting in a presser today that their minority off-duty police officers were being stopped without cause. And these police officers, the chiefs had said that the phone calls from concerned citizens have been nonstop. And then last week they started getting phone calls or hearing from their employees, their police officers, that it's happening to them. So Trump is full of fucking shit that they're apprehending murderers.
A lot of bad people, and these are just some of the more recent ones that we have, and I can show you some of the people. Vicious, many of them murderers. These are all out of Minnesota, just Minnesota. I say, why don't you talk about that?
So just to be clear, none of these people that he's putting up have been convicted.
More? Because people don't know. Do you want to live with these people?
We don't want to live with you, buddy.
International murder. These are people that are living, if they're apprehended.
Look at that. Those pictures are nice, colored, laminated. Man, I wish I had a setup like that in my studio.
And either put in jails in their country from where they came, and the countries respect us, and so they actually...
Well, what if they came from America? What if they came from the United States?
They put them there.
What about the 3 Lakota men that have gone missing? Is it even possible for Native Americans to be in violation of any immigration laws? It's complete fucking oxymoron.
In the old days, they didn't respect our country. Biden wouldn't do this because he let them...
Biden didn't put fucking his own personal fucking thug force into the streets to terrorize American citizens. So Trump is correct about that. Biden wouldn't have done that.
All in. You know, if you didn't have open border policies of Biden, none of this, all of the things that all of the time that we spend talking about Minnesota.
I should have went back and got Trump's his first term stats of illegal immigration, because it was pretty up there. So, but he doesn't ever want to talk about he was part of the problem.
Minnesota and everything else, most of them are coming from...
And 20 million is bullshit. I mean, if there's really 20 million, why is he only, why have we only had like, what, 1.5 million deported? And I guess a big percent of them now, they're claiming are self-deportees, so ICE doesn't seem to be very efficient.
Out of the country, and it's been caused by a previous administration. Look at this, one after one.
Look at them. Look at all the pictures I have.
Boy, these are rough characters.
Yeah. Have you seen yourself?
These are all criminal, illegal aliens that, in many cases, they're murderers, they're drug lords.
Remember when Trump pardoned a drug lord?
Drug dealers. They're the mentally insane. There's some of them who are brutal killers. They're mentally insane. They're killers, but they're insane.
Yeah, because brutal killers usually are.
These are just in Minnesota. In California, it's worse. In other states, it's worse. No, Minnesota, the crime is incredible. The financial crimes are incredible. And the problem is because of the agitators and insurrectionists, whatever you want, troublemakers, but
there's that word. We're gonna probably hear it a few times because he's just, as you guys know, he's just pushing toward, invoking the Insurrection Act or declaring martial law.
They're paid agitators and insurrectionists. Nobody talks about the fact that $19 billion at a minimum is missing in Minnesota.
$19 billion? Let's talk about money. Trump claims that he's brought in $17 trillion with a T just in the last several months due to tariff revenue. Where is it? Jay mentioned our national debt earlier, but I think $17 trillion is somewhere around half of what our national debt is. Can you imagine? In 6 months, Trump brought in enough tariff revenue to pay down half of our fucking national debt. Can you imagine? But he isn't. Where is that money, Mr. President?
Given to a large degree by Somalians. They've taken it. Somalians. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And they don't do it. A lot of very low IQ people, they don't do it. Other people work it out, and they get them money, and they go out and buy Mercedes Benzes, and they come from here, they have no money. They never had money. They never had a life. They never had a government. They never had a country.
So we have corrupt American politicians that are laundering money just to make random strangers from Somalia wealthy.
Because there's basically no country. Somalia is not even a country. They don't have anything that resembles a country. And if it is a country, it's considered just about the worst in the world. They come here and they become rich and they don't have a job. I was told that Ilhan Omar is worth $30 million. She never had a job. She's a crooked
She actually works for the United States government. She works for the people.
congressman. So here is another one. And I have, oh, by the way, we just took out, these are all what ICE is doing. And it's a dangerous job. These are rough people.
It's dangerous for the people out there around them doing their
Weapons.
job.
This one here is very bad. I'm going through this because I think we have plenty of time. I'm going to
Wake up.
this beautiful place in Switzerland.
Wake up,
Where we'll be,
Gramps.
I'm sure I'm very happily awaited for. In Switzerland, they don't know about this.
Right.
They don't have this problem. They have other problems, but they don't have this problem.
Right.
Look,
They got to deal with you.
killed somebody. Look, and these are rough people. These are not. This was all allowed into our country through open borders. These dumbest policies. You know, men and women's sports is dumb, but to me, having an open border for the world to come in, drug dealers and prisoners. Venezuela, as an example, opened their prisons into the United States. That's why one of the reasons I felt so strongly against Venezuela.
How did they do that? I can't see chat, and I doubt we'll get any Trumpers in here, but I would like to know how what he means by Venezuela opening their prisons into our country. I mean, he says that shit a lot. It was last year or before the election, he said that all these countries are driving, they're busing their people to the southern border, holding a gun to their head, telling them to get out, go into the United States, and if you come back, we'll kill you. That's paraphrasing, but really fucking close to what this maniac said. I mean, look, you want to be a fucking white, fucking supremacist, racist, fascist, fucking ding-dong. Nobody can stop you from having the beliefs you want to have. If you really care about America, though, you would think that you would be willing to call out the fucking bullshit. I mean, how is Trump helping your life by fucking lying to your ass?
I'm loving Venezuela. They've been working with us so well. It's been so nice. And an unbelievably nice woman also did a very incredible thing, as you know, a few days ago. We're talking to her, and maybe we can get her involved in some way. I'd love to be able to do that. Maria, maybe we can do that. But we're dealing with the people and the president and all of the people in Venezuela, and we've been doing great. The oil companies are getting ready to make massive investments there. They have more.
Are they? Because the last I heard that they said it's completely unstable, and why would they want to invest $500 billion to rebuild the oil infrastructure there to just have it nationalized again?
Oil and even Saudi Arabia.
Which will happen.
There you go.
It should happen. I mean, look, if we have a fucking, a country like Venezuela that is making deals with American oil companies, great. But that's not what's happening. Trump has removed the head guy, Maduro, kept everybody else in place because basically he just wanted to put himself in Maduro's place. That's, again, why I make the claim that I believe, I think there's a 50-50 chance that Trump would try and profit off the drug trafficking. I mean, he's not going to be in there fucking weighing out fucking grams of coke, right? He just needs to turn his head, tell the drug lords there, he'll turn his head, just send my cut to the Cutter account.
These are rough ones. This is all Minnesota, every one of them. This is one state out of many. And these people are, let's see, yeah, these are all, so far, people that came from outside of the country. They were allowed in by Sleepy Joe Biden, Crooked Joe Biden, whichever you like. You can call
How do you know when they came in?
them whatever you like. They're both right. He's sleepy and he's crooked. He was the worst president we've ever had. And we've had some bad ones, too. I can tell you, all you have to do is look at trade.
Remember that one Trump quote? Trump says, I looked at this trade deal and I thought, who could be so stupid as to sign this trade deal? Well, turns out it was Trump that signed the deal he was fucking crying about. That's the fucking genius we got right there, you guys.
You're not getting bored with this, right? I hope you don't.
Oh, it is boring.
But these are people that
It's
you have to
disgustingly
see.
boring. How many times are you going to go through that
Strong
fucking
arm
pile,
rape,
Dick Weed?
aggravated assault with a weapon, and many other crimes.
What about the files, Mr. Trump?
Gang member, known as one of the toughest people around.
Jesus fucking Christ.
These are tough people. Terribly about that. And I understand both sides of it. It's going to be good here, right? It doesn't work that way. He's a man murderer. It's one of many. One of many. All they want to do is get him out. They want to take him out of our country. And we're met with paid agitators and insurrectionists, troublemakers. They're paid. You know, when the woman was shot, and I felt terribly about that. And I understand both sides of it.
Well, your DHS secretary called her a terrorist before there was any she completely exonerated, not that she can legally, the ICE agent, and called the deceased a terrorist like within hours of this happening. So, yeah, you don't feel bad. They're fucking evil, paid agitators, insurrectionists, liberals, right? Democrats. The worst people.
When she was shot, there was another woman that was screaming shame, 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 right? You saw it. So loud. It was like a professional opera singer. She was so loud and so professional.
What a fucking
She
piece
wasn't
of
a
shit.
woman that was hurt, like, oh, my heart's injured. She was a professional. She's shame, shame. She's screaming shame, shame. I said, that's not a normal person. That's a professional.
Yeah, I don't think Trump is the best source for determining what a normal person is.
These are professional agitators and professional people that want to see our country do badly. But that's not happening because we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, despite this stuff. Look at this.
Yeah, that's why our market lost 900, the Dow lost 900 points today after Canada made a trade deal with China.
All top of the line criminals. They're not going to be good. They're not going to be well behaved here. I could do thousands. We had over 3,000 in the last fairly short while. Just in Minnesota. What's the number, Carol? 10,000.
10,000 criminals arrested in Minnesota alone.
10,000 criminals. And these are serious criminals. Now, how can a place with 10,000 criminals, how can you have a state? And yet
How can you call them criminals if they haven't been convicted?
they're fighting us. Yeah, I like that guy. Keeps nodding to me. Do you agree with me, I guess? I like him. I don't
No
know who
one
he is,
agrees
but
with
I
you.
like him. He keeps nodding. He says, "You're right." He's obviously a little on the right side, maybe.
Yeah.
Look, these are rough ones.
Is Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend still a fucking White House reporter? Remember Trump loved that guy so much?
So this, we just took this off a stack. We have many stacks like this. Like, I could go 30 times what I'm showing you now. Relations with Hezbollah, that's nice.
Holy crap, this is bad, isn't
Why do
it?
we allow them in our country?
Oh, it's certainly a change from his normal fucking what the fuck shit. I'm assuming he gets ranting eventually.
I'm just looking at these charges. It's just pretty incredible. Many murders, many.
Right, like rape, pedophilia, defrauding the people of the United States, staging a failed coup, witness tampering, illegally obtaining or having classified documents. Those kinds.
Many murders. People that murdered.
Remember the what was it, 120 some people, 130 people that Trump murdered just recently in the Caribbean?
So what ICE does, and Border Patrol is incredible, too. I mean, Paul Perez and that group is incredible. Mostly Hispanic, by the way. They're like 60% Hispanic. You know, they talk about Hispanic. They're mostly Hispanic, right? And they're unbelievable people. And then they say, oh, we discriminate against. I love Hispanic. They are unbelievable. Entrepreneurial. They have everything. I did great. I did the highest. Nobody ever got numbers like I got from the standpoint of being a Republican. But even if you look at Texas, I won the entire border along Texas, between Texas and Mexico. It never happened before. Nobody's ever done that before. I did it. As a Republican, I did it. I love the Hispanic. And they accuse us of all sorts of things. 60% of the people we're talking about, they're the best people we have, and they're Hispanic. The Border Patrol is largely Hispanic. ICE is largely Hispanic. They're unbelievable people. I don't know how they can take the abuse. They're taking rough people like this,
'Cause they're
like all
thugs.
of them. We have
The ICE agents, so many of us have seen videos of, are exactly the same people that you are holding up right there. I don't doubt for a second that a lot of the folks, or most of them, maybe all of them that Trump is holding up, are probably not good people. I mean, but then again, you can't trust the fucker as far as you can throw him, and most of us probably couldn't even budge one of his ankles up off the ground. So, yeah, it's I haven't seen any ICE agents of color, so whatever. I mean, maybe they're out there.
So we have 10,000 at least. I could have done 10,000 of them. You're lucky I only did like 100. And this isn't even the worst of the group. They have murderers. They have some people we can't use their picture for legal reasons, but they're up for murder.
Because they haven't been convicted of a crime? Because you don't have any evidence? And you can't just sit there and defame people because you don't like what color they are or what country they come from?
Our own country.
Or what party they vote for?
And we jeopardize their case. When we send them back and we coordinate with other countries. A tremendous amount of work. All allowed in here by an open border policy of the worst president in the history of our country. A man that didn't win the election, by the way, it's a rigged election. Everybody knows that now.
Nobody knows that. You've been fucking spewing that bullshit, and there's never been an ounce of proof of it. You fucking called on your fucking slimy ass thugs to attack our capital, and your very own party reps were running for their fucking lives.
And by the way, numbers are coming out that
By the way, where is the Republican-led J6 hearings? Where's the new J6 hearings led by the Republicans? Anyone?
show it even more plainly. We caught him. We caught him. So I just want you to know that it's a terrible thing. Here's the book on accomplishments, and this is something. Ooh, I'm glad my finger wasn't in that sucker. That could have done
that's
some
too
damage,
bad.
but you know what? I wouldn't have shown the pain.
No.
I would have gone back. What, did you hear that?
No brain, no pain.
That was nasty.
Jesus Christ.
But I would not have shown the pain. I would have acted like nothing happened as my finger fell off. That was a nasty. I think somebody did that. I think it was him. It was my man. How were you? You didn't do it. I know you did. I know you didn't. So, but here is the here's
book
the
of
book.
accomplishments.
These are all things we have. I'm going to read a few of the samples, but look at this. These are all. Each line is something that we did.
There should have been like angels singing sound when he held that up.
Nobody did that before. And it's big stuff, too. Look, we have the hottest country in the world. So, I will read you a few. We ended Biden's stagflation. We were in stagflation. That's a disaster. That's far worse than inflation.
Actually, the last year of Biden's term, the Dow grew 11,000 points. It was close to averaging 1,000 points a month. So that was in Biden's last year. So it took a little time for him to clean up the mess after Trump's complete failure with COVID pandemic.
Inflation. As you know, he had the biggest inflation in the history of our country. They say 48.
There was huge inflation, and we know why. Because you let things get out of hand. Now, I've never fucking blamed Trump for COVID breakout or, what happened there. He failed miserably on managing it. And I mean, it was his fucking rhetoric, right? That it wasn't a big deal. He's responsible for millions of fucking Americans' deaths.
8 years, pick your choice. But they had the biggest inflation in the history of our country. We have it right down to a normal number now. We're going to get it even a little bit lower. Created super high.
Inflation is down, but beef prices are up like 16% just in this first year of Trump's second term. 15%. I even seen 16%. I think Patriot Pete was saying it was up. Beef prices are up 16%. I seen another stat yesterday or the day before that where Americans have added about, $1,500 a year to their grocery costs, or maybe it was more than that, a couple $1,000s a year.
What we've done with growth is incredible. We created super high economic growth, and America is booming. It's booming. There are thousands of businesses.
We have no way of knowing that because Trump stopped all the fucking job numbers. He stopped releasing any economic indicators, right? Any of the metrics that we use to determine how the economy is doing, Trump stopped that reporting. As you guys know, he fucking fired the head of labor or whatever, the labor statistics.
Businesses right now that are being built. Many of the biggest factories in the world are being built right in our country. They're not going to other countries. They're leaving other countries. Fourth quarter GDP is on track to pass.
Just another quick quote from the Trump campaign when he was in Georgia. He said, "I will be bringing in hundreds, maybe thousands of businesses to this state alone." I don't know any companies that have moved, invested, ramped up their growth or investments in America? Zero.
Perhaps much more than 5% growth, and that's despite the fact that we had a Democrat shutdown. They shut down our country, and we had 5%.
Actually, the shutdown happened under you.
Nobody's in this room has ever heard about 5%. I think it could be 20% if we do it right. If we don't, every time we have good numbers, they raise interest rates. You shouldn't. In the old days, if you had good numbers, they'd lower interest rates.
Yeah, that's complete fucking bullshit again. But you know, he's not speaking to us. I guess he's just continuing to spoon feed the fucking ding dongs, right? Seriously. In the past, when the economy was hot, they would lower interest rates. That's how that always worked. Who's buying that shit?
Wouldn't do anything. Here they try and kill it. They always try and kill success. Over the last 20, 25 years, that's the way. In the old days, if you had good numbers, the market would go through the roof. Today, if you have good numbers, the market goes down. But by the way, we've had the best stock market in history, the best 401ks in history, and we inherited a mess. The numbers that we inherited were way up, and now we brought them, almost all of them, way down. We brought them way down. I mean, I'm not getting...
Right, the things you brought down, like standard of living, the number of people on health care, the number of jobs available, those are the things you've brought down.
Maybe I have the bad public relations people.
Morale.
But we're not...
National pride.
Not getting it across. We inherited high numbers and we brought them way down. And look at gasoline. They have places in the country now, $1.99 a gallon. $1.99.
So here we have the Gas Buddy. Here we have, this is Gas Buddy. This is by far the best place to see where gas prices are at. Trump said that we have a few states with $1.99 a gallon gas. Well, I'm showing right now at whatever fucking time it is, 8:42 p.m. on January 20th, that Oklahoma is the cheapest in the country at $2.27 a gallon. And then, of course, it just goes up from there. Well, I got this up. I got to see I got to see where my Michigan is at. Oh, $2.90. So at $2.90 a gallon here in Michigan, if that's, and it was, I don't know, $2.86 or something down the road from me. It's $2.74 when Biden left office. But anyways, not like we expect the truth from this fucking D-bag.
$2.30, $2.50. I guess the average now they're saying is $2.31. I mean, he was at $4.50 and $5 for periods of time. And he went back to the Trump formula, but he didn't do it properly, and he really went back to parts of it because you would have had $8 gasoline if they didn't. But he didn't do it properly. He had people that didn't know what they were doing. Core inflation for the last 3 months is 1.6%. 1.6. Their core inflation was so high that nobody could even...
Actually, I think I seen core inflation is about 2.6%.
Calculated. Under Biden, real incomes declined $3,000. Think of that, $3,000. That's a year. In 12 months, Trump real incomes went up by $2,000 and $3,000 and even in some cases $5,000. It's a tremendous difference. Stock market.
Any of you guys the lucky recipients of a $5,000 pay raise in this past year?
I set 52 all-time record highs during the course of the 11 months, because this was done on 11 months. Now we are actually officially 12 months as of today. 52 all-time record highs. That means 401ks did great. I have people see me all the time, policemen that guard us really well, and got to know them a little bit. And they said, "Sir, you're making me look so good. My 401k is through the roof. My wife thinks I'm the greatest genius, that I'm a financial genius, like Warren Buffett." He told me that. He said, I think they have better returns than Warren Buffett right now.
What do you guys think? President Trump sedated today? Heavily sedated?
But he said, all my life, my wife has been criticizing me for not being smart financially. Now, all of a sudden, she loves me more. But we added $9 trillion in value to retirement accounts, saving many people. I mean, they were going out of business. Think of it. We added $9 trillion of value to retirement accounts, savings accounts, and 401ks. That's doing.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you guys. How does he come up? $9 trillion added to 401ks. Are you fucking kidding me?
In the course of 12 months, and I think it's probably 11 months because I don't think they have it for the 12. They have it for the 11. Added $9 trillion of value. Lifted more than 1.2 million Americans off food stamps in 1 year. They would have had another 1.2 million. We would have had welfare.
You mean kicked them off? Trump thinks taking families who need food assistance, like starving kids, and moving them so they're no longer receiving any sort of food assistance, he thinks that's helping them. Like if if it's 1.3 people, 1.3 million folks less on food assistance, that's 1.3 million people less on food assistance, and he doesn't give a fuck to explain what's happening to those people and how they have all now gone to food banks and or are hungry.
Would have gone up, and instead of investing $18 trillion in our country, now it's probably more than that, but $18 trillion and having thousands of plants being built all over the country.
Where?
You would have had thousands of plants.
What plants? Where?
Plants closing all over the country, and you would have had disinvestment, and you would have had welfare going way up. You know, if you look at SNAP.
Disinvestment, like when Ford and GM decided to move a bunch of their plants to Canada because of your fucking bonkers tariffs.
Take a look at SNAP, what happened with that. It was at $7 billion, and it came out to over $51 billion. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. The past administration...
I have no idea what the fuck you said there, man.
They had no clue. Or they were really bad, but they basically had no clue. But they did have a concept. I mean, they're still trying to sell the idea of men playing in women's sports. You saw that in the Supreme Court. I mean, some of those justices were fighting for them, too. They were fighting for them. But you saw that just the other day in the Supreme Court. Men playing in women's sports doesn't work. Secured a record-breaking $18 trillion in commitments for new investments. Apple, NVIDIA, SoftBank, Oracle, TSMC, Johnson & Johnson, Eli Lilly and Company, Micron, AstraZeneca, General Motors, Hyundai, Ford, Honda, GE Aerospace, many, many others. I left a Ford plant a week ago in Michigan that they were going to close.
Yeah, where you got fucking called a pedo?
2 years ago.
Because you are?
And now they just announced that they're going 24 hours around the clock making cars. Terrorists did it. I don't know what the Supreme Court's going to do. I think to me it reads so plainly. Couldn't be plainer. You're allowed to do a license. Tariff is probably less severe than what a license could be. But think of it. You're allowed to do a license, and then they have a clause at the end, something to the effect, or what is necessary, something to that effect. And what is necessary with tariffs. I don't know where there's a case even there, but we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, and if we lose that case, it's possible we're going to have to do the best.
So hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs because a couple of weeks ago, for a few days in a row, a few weeks in a row, it was $17 trillion in tariff revenue. Now it's $100 billion.
Best we can in paying it back. I don't know how that's going to be done very easily without hurting a lot of people. But we're waiting for that case anxiously, and we have tremendous national security because of tariffs and tremendous income. You know, we have, and by the way, no inflation. So everyone said, oh, tariffs will cause inflation. We have no inflation. We have very little inflation.
No, tariffs are going to cause, nobody said tariffs will cause inflation. Tariffs are going to cause prices. Inflation is something different than prices just being jacked up on individual or specific items or from specific companies or countries. And that's what is happening, is that the tariffs are a tax on the Americans. Maybe he doesn't know it. I mean, he is a fucking complete fucking dumbass. Anyways, I guess I lost my train of thought. The tariffs. Oh, yeah. So on that same note of the tariffs causing more taxes on causing, just higher prices, basically a tax on American consumers, right? When Trump, you guys probably seen the letter that Trump wrote to Norway's PM for whatever reason. I mean, he cried to Norway about not receiving the Nobel Peace Prize because of his imaginary 8 wars that he ended. And so he's going to tax the American people some more to teach Denmark a lesson.
Biden had inflation, and he didn't do tariffs. We had a huge problem. We have a 62% reduction in our trade deficit. So if you had a 1% reduction, a normal president would have a 1%, 2% reduction. Everybody would be high-fiving. Had a 62% reduction. Next year, we won't have a trade deficit.
Next year, we won't have any
trade.
trade.
Most favored nations agreements to slash drug prices by as much. To me, I think this might be the biggest thing of all. We get zero talk about it. The New York Times had a story way in the back of the paper, a little story about it. I think it's the biggest thing there is when you talk about health care. Drug prices will go down more than ever before for any country because we were priced at such a level that we were subsidizing the entire world, big place of the world. We were paying 10, 12, 13 times more than other countries. 13 times more, not 13%, 13 times more. A pill that was selling in London for $10 would sell in New York for $130. It's 13 times.
Yay,
more than
man.
that even. But we secured most favored nations agreements to slash drug prices by as much as 300, 400, 500, and even 600%.
All right, you guys, I've had enough of this. But let's hang on that note, shall we? I gotta get back to chat and see what you guys are up to. So, if drug prices are slashed by 300, 400, 500%, they're now free and likely going to pay you to fill your prescription, I guess. Seriously, I mean, I don't know. I guess I know I'm preaching to the choir. It's mentally debilitating to fucking have to fucking try and wrap my, I don't know. Should I just apologize to you guys now for fucking even trying that nonsense? I mean, the beginning was really bad. I should have. I didn't watch the presser today. Quite often I will watch his shit, but I haven't recently so much. You have to be good to yourself every once in a while, right? Jesus fucking Christ, you guys. Let me catch up with chat. as far as I can. I think I said hi to Peg and Mac and Jay, and James is in the house. Bill is here, and Mary. Laura is here. What's up, sister? Cheers to you. Kate's here. Cheers to you, Kate. It looked like I seen one chud for a minute there, user account. Can't be bothered to go back and see what they had to say. All right. Yeah, Kate asks why the debt is still going up if the tariffs are bringing in so many million or trillions. Kate says that the Germans came out today and said if Trump keeps fucking around with Greenland, they're going to collectively boycott the World Cup. That would be great. Kate says if I was a drinker and took a shot every time he said Biden, I'd be wasted. Yeah. Bill says, all I know is as someone who tries not to be, but inevitably has to work hard, is I need 35 plus 100 calories per day. You want working class or not? Right. Jay says he cut $150 billion from Americans' health care and food aid and increased military spending by $300 billion per year. Mary says she had to get a prescription and it was $103.43. Now I pay full price, but not to exceed $2,000 annually. Holy fuck. Yeah. Well, all this bullshit completely put me and Mrs. V out of the game as far as the ACA goes. It's just, it's a fucking gamble. It's a choice. It's a fucking choice that we make to why we're still not too old and semi-healthy, nothing bothering us too badly each day other than aches and pains, right? Like we're literally having to make the choice of spending $3,000 or $4,000 a year for healthcare, specifically in case of emergency, because it'd be completely fucking useless outside of that. Just completely fucking useless to folks at our income level. And I mean, you guys can imagine. I'm sure $3,000 or $4,000 a year to anybody, to most folks, is a pretty good chunk of change, but. Again, I've said over and over, we live a pretty fucking humble life. I mean, we're fine with it. We like it like that. I would love to have health care. I think every American needs health care. I've said over and over again, how can I fucking be comfortable when my neighbor doesn't have health care and he gets sick, loses his job, or his job is tied to his health care, he loses his job, gets sick. Now he can't get another job because he's fucking, not in good health, and how's he going to pay for his house? Is that good? Looks like we got somebody that's trying hard. BLA asks, would you deport MAGA if you could? What do you mean by that? You have to explain. What do you mean MAGA? Like American citizens? No, we don't deport American citizens, ding dong. Even if they're Trumpers. So the answer is no. Is detrimental as MAGA cult members are to our society, to our country. We don't just deport American citizens. We try to, if they have some sort of debt they owe to society, we try and get that worked out, right? Just as most of it, I paid my debts when I've gotten in trouble. BLA says, I think many on the left would deport MAGA if they could. That proves they aren't anti-authoritarian. They want to be the authority. Yeah, but I think that your thinking is purely fucking opinion based on bullshit. I mean, can you at least tell me why you get the impression that most libs would deport MAGA? Can you do that? Your president is the mob boss. Who's behaving like a mob? ICE agents, you mean? Oh, now Silly wants to fucking retract what he said. It said, she said. That's why they behave like a mob of the people they claim to hate. Is this Chud not an American? Struggling with the English there a little bit. Maximus T-Shirtius, huh? You're a real special one. The problem is too many have already concluded that anyone who doesn't hate Trump is an evil fascist and are working backwards from that assumption. That is not how logic and reality works, however. Well, can you just fucking answer my question, ding dong? How is it that, where did you get the idea? Where is your fucking evidence or proof or anything that most libs want to deport MAGA? I mean, that's just purely your corrupt opinion, right? The problem is too many have already concluded that anyone who doesn't hate Trump is an evil fascist and are working backwards. Well, I tell you what, let's just reword that in the same thing. I don't give a fuck if anybody hates Trump or not. It's not about hating Trump. I know that's tough for you, but he's a rapist. He defrauded the people of the United States. He staged a failed coup. He witness tampering, protecting pedophiles. So it's not that people hate Trump. It's that we hate criminals like Trump. Okay? I know that may be difficult for you to understand, but Trump is a really terrible person. So anyone supporting him and his fascist ways are fascist supporters. I mean, it's not that complicated. No, you're the one that's constantly being embarrassed, proven wrong with previous claims and have to keep moving the goalposts, right? Like if you can't fucking answer any of my questions and you just want to think you're going to sit here and spam bullshit, then you're going to go. Do you want to answer any of my questions, ding dong, before I relieve you of your pain? Oh, are they? Right. Paid protesters told what to repeat, blah, blah, blah. You are brainwashed in a cult. You are brainwashed. If you are a Trump supporter, which you seem to be, you are brainwashed and in a cult, and I have serious doubts that you're even an American. All right. Well, that was fun, BLA. It's too bad you don't have any fucking balls, right? It's too bad. I mean, everybody's seen that you just wanted to fucking stand on your soapbox and scream and not back up any of your claims or answer anybody's questions when we ask you to elaborate on your fucking bullshit. Sad little buggers. Right. Mary says she doesn't want to deport MAGA or people that are here legally. See you on your next account, ding dong. I mean, you don't get to come in. I gave you plenty. I always take shit for censoring people, but you had plenty of room to speak. It's just that this isn't a fucking open mic night. You don't just get to come in here and fucking spew your shit and then fucking move on, right? Like, if you want to engage with us, great. We appreciate it. I do. I love having Trumpers come in and fucking display all their fucking fascist ways. Kate says, do they have to get a job or are they paid protesters? Make up your mind. Magatard. Right. Mary reminds us that Obama deported twice as many as Trump, and Obama did not need to terrorize our neighborhoods or detain, violate, murder American citizens. So in the poll tonight, I asked, will Trump invade Mexico? 13 votes. 38% say yes. 62% of you say no. We'll leave that poll up for the duration of the stream. Jay says fascism is a far-right authoritarian and ultranationalist political ideology characterized by a dictatorial leader, a centralized autocracy, and a strong regimentation of society and the economy. Yeah, or spend $180 billion on it, right. Well, that's it. Kate says the ultranationalists are always full of false pride. They have a perverted understanding or belief what America is, what we stand for, what most of us, you know, like, I was thinking about it last night, and I was raised the way, at 55, being in the Midwest, I was raised the way a lot of you folks were wherever you were raised. I know Jay is from the Midwest, Mary, I believe. Kate, possibly even. I wasn't raised like in this hyper patriotic household either, you know? Like, we believed what most of us still believe, in that you be a law-abiding citizens to the best of your ability, and I've struggled with that at times in my life. I think we've all had a ticket or two, maybe most of us. You work, you be an honest person, you don't fucking shit in your neighbor's yard, you know? You respect and appreciate and honor the veterans that have fought for our country and fought against the fascism and the tyranny throughout our history. And yeah, there's a lot of, you know, like I say, hyper patriotism with, you know, just for example, shit like George Washington chopping down the cherry tree and blah, 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 right? Just stuff to instill how important it is to to care about your country, and I think most of that is good stuff. But in 2020, during the protests, and we were live, the news broke of that father who him and his 3-year-old daughter, both his 3-year-old daughter in his arms, they both drowned trying to cross the Rio, right? And I had a complete breakdown, I mean, I busted out into tears on that stream. I'm not ashamed to admit it at all. I think I'd be ashamed if it didn't affect me. And that day, that moment, the America that I grew up believing in was taught, and we were that America that I grew up believing in up until that point for me. It had died. I mean, when we can't reach down and help a man with his 3-year-old daughter in his arms out of the river and then send him back to his country, like in a humane way, that's not the America that I know. That's not the America that many of you know. And we've done nothing but double down on that cold, heartless fucking sentiment since then, certainly under Trump. So this new America First or Make America Great Again has sent us backwards. Like 100 years ago, we had more compassion, empathy for humans than we do today. And that's it's really fucking hard to understand, you know. Again, I wasn't raised in some ultra patriotic or hyper patriotic household. Because to me, and I've said this to some of you guys before, it's like having too much, there's something really yucky about having too much pride. The nationalism, right? We're not any better than anybody else. And I think, you know, one thing for sure is that Trump has proven that. Trump being president has proven that America is clearly imperfect, right? I mean, boy, did we fuck up. So early this morning, I watched Mike Tiny Johnson address the British Parliament, and I spent, I don't know, it was 20 minutes or something. I was in that independent chat with a lot of Brits, and I spent most of that time apologizing. I did, and I meant to. I'm like, you know, Americans aren't the Trump administration, but we are responsible for him. And it's very difficult. It's really, really fucking hard for those of us like Gen Xers, older, you know, not just Gen Xers and older, but, you know, younger folks as well who have been raised right. It's really fucking hard for us, you know. That fucking dipshit BLA that was in here claiming that we just hate Trump. It's not that at all. That's not how we act. And so why would we want that from our president? Is it that difficult? We are the greatest nation on earth. Is it that difficult for us? Do we have anybody we need to be afraid of for our physical safety in the immediate? Is that pressing at all? It isn't. I know I'm probably, I don't know. I hope I'm getting through without sounding like I'm just rambling. It's so fucking hard. It really eats me up, you guys. It does. It's like we have the opportunity to be true world leaders. And to me, that means leading in humanitarian ways, right? Here at home, abroad. It's not owning the most fucking land or being the fucking richest nation in the world. But I digress. I suppose I can't expect these cocksuckers to fucking get that, right? Darlene, cheers to you. Kate calls it the upper Midwest. Most just refer to it as the Midwest. Well, like to me, where I'm at, Kate, in West Michigan, it's like this fucking nugget of paradise, right? That isn't just full of cornfields and flat land. So, yeah, I feel you. A little bit of separation there from the whole big Midwest thing. I'm with you on that. Mary says Trump exhibiting some communist behavior and demanding a % of private companies' profit. Yeah, it's fucking insane. Bill says Orwell 1944, fascism has many forms, same as democracy, but you best recognize it before it comes for you. Jay says a democratic socialist doesn't try to end private ownership of land or business. They attempt to enrich the working class. Bill says a big droll by today's standards, but worth the listen as the fascists want to argue semantics. Thanks, Bill. I got that saved, that link saved. Mary says, I saw it coming the first time Trump said fake news in 2015. Yeah, it's clear that, 100% that is from the Hitler playbook, right? You demonize the press and minorities and then play on the rest of society's fears and concerns about financial security, physical security. Make shit up, right? Create a monster or an enemy where there isn't one. Yeah, meanwhile, the white nationalists are claiming the Klan as Democrats. Darlene says, TV, I was raised that way, but I still understood right from wrong. Yeah. Well said. Darlene says, I don't hate Trump. I hate all the things he's doing, and I don't hate him because when you are on a plane, you don't pray for the pilot to crash. I like that, Darlene. Yeah, and that was and I've said before, that was, obviously I didn't vote for Trump in 2016, but not knowing just exactly how bad he was or how far this would go, once he won that election, it's like, yeah, let's hope he does the best for America. Absolutely, of course, we would all support that, there would be nothing greater than to be able to say, Trump, the Republican president, has improved America. How could any of us not be for that? Right? It's absolutely insane. And Trump's, when I was running his fucking presser there, spewing shit about Democrats wanting to destroy a hot economy. It's like, how would they benefit from that? If the fucking Dems or Libs or whoever are fucking dirty thieves, why would they want to destroy any sort of revenue, prosperity in America if they can benefit by stealing from it? It's just all a lot of fucking bullshit, right? The motherfucker talks in circles. Bill says, yeah, they always come back to that A-Golf. I just say, well, then I guess you're a Democrat then, maggot. Yeah. Mary says, I'm not sure that's a true statement that I wrote. I'm kind of asking. I'd have to scroll back up, sister. Yeah, he did say that. I mean, I don't know if it was 2015, but certainly during that 2016 campaign, he said that the news was corrupt and fake and whatever. Yeah, Bill says it is true, Mary. Every other U.S. politician respected the media. We call it the fourth column of democracy for a reason. Yeah, I was fucking, I think maybe in Laura's chat earlier, I was pissy again about CBS. You know, it's really sad. It's depressing, deflating that, you know, most of us don't get our news from these places, right? But you want to be able to trust them to be honest and hard pressing on the issues. And they're not. They completely, like, I was ready to click last week a CBS report, and I'm like, nope, I can't do it. I mean, because for one, I know that there's no way in hell they're going to be hammering down on this shit fully. So what's the point? I'm not fucking supporting it. And it's tough to have to say and do that. And me not watching CBS isn't going to fucking affect their bottom line a bit, right? But Trump continuing to force them to be a fucking lopsided, half-truth fucking media outlet is going to turn more than just me off from them. And that will eventually affect their bottom line, I'm sure. But whatever, you know. They've shown that their main concern is profit over transparency. Bill says, Thomas Paine is my favorite founding father. Was he biased and motivated by personal enrichment? Of course, but his pamphlets could get you arrested in colonial America. Mary says Trump could have walked into the White House and done nothing and took credit for every infrastructure project and rode the wave. He ruined it. Yeah, I don't get that either. He's just not a very bright. He just wants to do things his own, like he wants to burn everything down and rebuild it in his own way, right? All right, you guys. I need to take a short break. I'm going to do that. Get myself something to drink, refill my cup here, and I will be right back. I appreciate you guys hanging out, yapping while I was fucking running my mouth with the Trump presser. Yeah, that was a complete failure on my part. Usually I enjoy doing that shit a little more, but he was complete fucking, it was just, yeah, low energy. But I assume, you know, that was half of it. I mean, fucking, he stood there for 2 fucking hours yapping apparently, but I appreciate you guys. If you hang tight, I'll see you when I get back. I'm back. Mary, I gotta learn to start keeping some of this stuff, but I'm OCD, and I tried to keep the clutter on my computer down. And as you guys can imagine, doing this shit, I have too many files, links, not too many, but a lot of shit that I have a very hard time. I need a card catalog system. But Mary says, I haven't purchased anything fun since election. Apparently the top 10% are doing the spending. There was a really scary statistic that I seen on that. That it's even less than that, sister. Like I don't know, the top 3%. And look, you guys will have to forgive me, and any chuds want to fucking, pick me apart on this, that's fine, but you're more than welcome to bring in the true stats, because I know I'm damn close. It's about the top 3 or 4% earners in America are responsible for 50% of the consumer dollars spent. Can you fucking imagine that, you guys? Think about that for a minute. Let's say we have 100 people and 3 of them are spending more than the bottom 50%. Or spending more than the other 97 people, right? But there was some other relative statistic to that about what the bottom 50% of America earns and spends, and how it's just completely fucking obliterated by, the top couple percent earners in our country. So what happens when, those people aren't spending, or what happens when they just don't have anything more they want to buy because they're already fucking wealthy and own 10 homes, like how is, and I've given this scenario before too. Like if you give the bottom 65-70% of Americans a tax break, they are likely going to spend that. For sure, I can say that if you give the bottom 50% of Americans a tax break, they're spending it. Right? We're not just, piling it into our fucking bank accounts with all the rest of our millions and trillions and billions of dollars. That's not at all. So when you give, say, $1 million worth of tax breaks to an individual that's wealthy, someone in the top 5, 4, 3%, they're just putting it in their bank, or they're reinvesting it in stocks or whatever is going to make them more money. But if you take that same $1 million worth of tax breaks and you give it to however you want to spread it out, every fucking dime is getting put right back into the economy. Every dime. And I think this is a huge, and I'm no economist. You guys know that. That's pretty clear. But it just seems like such fucking elementary, economics to know that poor people are spending every dime they have. And so when you give them a tax break, or you make it possible for them to have more money to spend, they're going to spend it. And that's you guys know how it works. That's true trickle down, right? Because I know we talk about that. Certainly Jay has a lot to say about it. That's true. That's where trickle down or if you want to call it that, actually maybe works or has some, not that that should be like some sort of fucking plan or policy, but that's what works. When you give folks like myself and a lot of us any sort of tax break, we're likely going to spend it somewhere. And so what does that mean? That means the person at Circuit City, gets to keep their job. The lowest person rank, seniority there gets to keep their job. That means the gas station down the road is, experiencing more business. You guys get my point. All that money goes right back into the economy. When you give a $1 million tax break to a multi-billionaire, it doesn't affect a fucking thing, except for probably it's going to make the effects are probably going to be a negative thing for the rest of the country, or most of it. Yeah. Bill says Biden's market was great, and I honestly don't know why. Infrastructure bill, maybe. I know the markets. Yeah, Bill, I have to say, I'll finish reading Bill's comment there. I have to say, it was crazy that, like, the economy was so hot, even during the pandemic, right? Like, when Biden took over and started, doing these, passing these bills and stimulus bills, basically, in a sense, just reinvesting into America, because we know how, because you put people to work. You guys don't have to forgive me. Whoever the president was that totally, the Hoover, I guess it would have been. Building America's highways and, all these huge infrastructure projects, putting people to work, and then creating jobs that are lasting after the work is done, right? Because there's more infrastructure that needs to be maintained and blah, blah, blah. And hopefully all that infrastructure increasing people's ability to increase their business if they're a business person, or just having the opportunity to make more money because traffic is increased to their area, right? So anyway, but Bill says Biden's market was great, and I honestly don't know why. Infrastructure bill, possibly, or maybe. I know the markets have been mostly driven by tech and always medical because boomers, and I think the tech is fake promises. Well, right now, Bill, I believe like 50%, more than 50% of the growth in the markets right now are AI driven, and that's a bubble, right? I mean, again, most of you folks know way more about investing and shit than I do, but it's common sense that when you have all the growth in one area, that's gonna stop at some point. Jay says that could have stopped in a single or a few regions being able to test people. It doesn't trickle down. That was a lie since Reagan, 45 years of waiting for it to trickle down. Yeah. When the government gives to the middle, and well, Bill, the thing is too, is what always pisses me off that, and I've fucking gotten irate about this because I am irate about that. Democrats don't push back on this shit. Giving tax breaks to these huge corporations do not stimulate R&D and fucking investment from these companies. You know what does? You guys know what does? Demand for a product or a service. That is the only fucking thing that increases, prompts businesses to do more hiring, more research and development, more investment in a certain area, right? It just fucking makes sense. And I guess to prove my point, if there's profit to be made, no matter how slim the profit margin is, if there's a profit there, then somebody will fill that void. It doesn't have to be some fucking multi-trillion-dollar a year company, right? Let's hope it's a smaller guy. Said, fuck, I don't have to fucking make $10 million my first year. I'll be happy with a fucking low six-figure paycheck and having my own goddamn business. That void will be filled. But when you give $10 billion or a $10 million tax break to some company, they're not investing that unless there's a reason to. And that reason would be demand for a product or service. Their investment doesn't create that demand. And it's just, it always blows my mind talking to some Trumpers. It's like, it's really one of my pet peeves that Dems don't fucking push back on that shit. Giving tax breaks to these huge businesses do not create jobs. And it pisses me off that fucking elected Democrats don't push back on this harder. Because maybe we would be able to, you know, these things take time to fucking kind of infiltrate the fucking chuddy mind, right? Kate says the Hong Kong people are talking about it in October. They called a strange illness on the mainland. I'm not sure what I missed there, Kate. Yeah, Jay says it goes through like 10 people's hands. Give me an unexpected $100 bonus on my check. I'm spending $120 on dinner and drinks that night. Exactly. Like it might do that, Bill. Right. Like, hey, I got an extra, $30 I can spend this week, but what am I going to do with it? Little bonus from the boss, little tax break from the government, and we are in tax season again, so you might go out and then you might be able to go out and spend that $30 extra you had. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Go fucking buy, a hamburger, piece of chicken. Well, with $30 though, Bill, you could fucking get like 10 meals according to Trump. Mary said, my mom always said that you got to spread the manure, like a millionaire should not cut their own grass. Yeah, that I get you. It seems so easy to most of us, right? Seems pretty basic and common sense. Yeah, that's basically a $20 night out. Yeah, Bill would be and his wife would be one more couple in a restaurant. That server would have one more table they got to wait on that night. And I know Bill, he's probably a big tipper. Huge percent of growth is AI, and it's around the military, scary, and the huge corporations. You know who doesn't have much AI? The common people, right? Mary says for four companies are investing everything, driving the stock market, betting against each other. Each believe they will be number one. Yeah. Yep, that's certainly the case. We see that. I don't know how relative this is to what we're talking about at the moment, but I had, for whatever reason, I was thinking about the Perfect Union video that I seen, and there's a couple of them. I think PBS had one, possibly Frontline, but Perfect Union, that's a pretty cool channel if you guys check it out. It's a really cool channel. These big beef farmers, right? Cattle farmers, showing and saying, half of them in these interviews have lost their family farms. I can't, the suicide rate among farmers, who are dealing with that shit is through the roof. But these guys are straight Trump voters. Their profits are dropping at the same time, at record levels, at the same time that the prices for consumers are rising at record levels. How do those two things, happen at once? Where the fuck is that money going? Right? It is. It's another bubble market scenario. 45 AI companies competing first. One to the finish line might bankrupt the other three. Yep, money for the working class gets passed on, and it does. It just, Bill and his wife go out to dinner, and because Bill had a bonus he wasn't expecting, he's feeling generous, he tips that server well. That server decides they had a good night, so they're going to go out to eat on their way home or go stop and have drinks with their friends when they weren't going to be able to afford to before that. And so they're tipping their server, and that bar or business just increase their sales a little bit, and that's all it takes. Little bit here, there. That's capitalism. Yeah, I was always terrible, Bill. And it's probably because I worked in the industry, but I always tipped way beyond what I could afford to tip, and way beyond what was expected. But, it's just money. We're not, and yeah, we need it. And yeah, TV lives a really humble life. I was going to say TV's broke. We're fine. I've never, I think I've lived such a humble life, even growing up in, tough situation. I appreciate what I have, and I've learned, I don't know any different. So I'm not high maintenance at all, and neither is Mrs. V, and I'm thankful for that. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to be able to maybe do some more things here and there, but really not too much, honestly. Just, basically it'd be stuff to put a smile on Mrs. V's face, right? Jay says money for the working class gets passed and passed. I read that. Mary says we need to become pros at co-ops. Imagine cattle ranchers and meat packers forming a co-op. Yeah. Well, for fuck's sake, I wish I could think of the, God damn it, I watch so much shit. It may have been, I think it was a Norway company where it's owned by the employees. They vote on their president. It's not like a union. It's every employee owns a percentage of the company, and every employee that's lifted up to that level you're able to buy into it, right? They had a half a dozen employees and the president of the company, the elected president of the company, not an owner, right? Because they were all owners standing there, and there was one of the fellas that wasn't owner in the sense of having owning any percent of the business or whatever, or having a vote at that time. But they don't keep these people on the fringes and just let them work and not allow them to have the same opportunities that everybody else in the company is. And it's worked well for them, right? There's security there. You're voting. You're really, the person or lady next to you is in the same boat as you. So that helps keep the vote, you know, prevents any sort of fucking corruption at the top. They could switch presidents anytime through a vote. It has to be a unanimous one. So it was a good thing, you know. And my great grandmother, she was a sharecropper in Mississippi. And so even though obviously sharecropping was kind of in many cases was not beneficial to the workers, but yeah. But it's owning that, it's taking I guess to Mary's point, it's figuring out a way for us to control our own destiny, eliminating or reducing these big wigs like fucking Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, on and on, right? Is it time for, well, I bet I haven't brought it up yet this year, so let me bring it up. So these are this is Justice with Michael Sandel from Harvard University. And these are incredible lectures, you guys. Just fucking incredible. Like it asks the questions, how much does someone like Michael Jordan owe his success? How much of his success does he owe to the people buying his jerseys and buying tickets to go to the games? And you see what I'm saying? So like, how much of Bezos' success does he owe to his employees and to the people buying his products or using his service, right? And I think it's something that you guys, anybody who's heard me yap on this before, I struggle with it because we are an American, and we most of us support capitalism. It's the best system out there right now, I guess, working system. Like I don't know, we don't want to tell people what they can pay employees, right? Because if they don't pay enough, well, the employee has they're not going to get good employees, or they're not going to get any, right? It's kind of this agreement, right, between an employer and an employee, what they're going to pay and what they're going to accept for pay. And I get that. But when people are struggling, they're willing to compromise what they're actually worth, right? They're willing to work for less than what they're worth. And that kind of shit trickles down and starts to harm and take a negative effect on society, right? So how do we deal with it? I think that's a huge, it's a moral question. I think it's something that is probably going to have to be worked out legislatively somehow. And that's where it gets really sticky and yicky. But I don't know how else to, and I'm not just saying like, hey, Bezos, you're rich. Come on, buddy. Just fucking throw a couple fucking bones to your employees. These people have no fucking morals. They don't remember where they started from, or aren't honest about how they got their start. Like Elon, for example, his family made their money off fucking, I'm fucking drawing a blank on the term there, where white people, a minority whites, kind of ran roughshod over all these African communities, right? That's where Elon's family made his money, was by fucking stealing from the locals, from the people of countries. Mary says the whole climb the corporate ladder is fucked up too. A dock worker might do the best ever and love it. If he wants a raise, he gets moved to an office. That's dumb. Give him the raise at the dock. Yeah, right on, Mary. I feel you on that. Like, yeah, and then he's in that best employee is in a, it kind of happened to me with Pete. Like, I was out in the field, and within a year, I became, and I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying this is the way it was. I busted my ass. I was at least 10 years older than pretty much everybody else out there in the crews. I just did, and look, I get it. I was 40 some years old. I'm working with 22-year-olds. They're not going to have the same sense of responsibility that I do. They're not going to necessarily understand how important it is to their job that they do a good job for the company, right? You get the attitude that, hey, I'm an hourly employee. It doesn't fucking matter how much productive I am. I'm getting paid the same, right? But I knew I had a different attitude than that, right? Like, my attitude was that I'm out here getting paid. I'm going to stay busy. And that's gonna be the benefit. And so after that first year, I was our top crew leader. And 2 years after that, they brought me into the office to be the operations manager. And then stuff went to shit with the pandemic and all that. But yeah, there was many times I'm like, I almost want to be back out in the field. I was at 49 at that time in 2019. I knew I wasn't getting younger. I knew I didn't want to, be out there running a fucking chainsaw or a weed whip or pushing a mower or riding on a mower or operating heavy equipment, or no matter what. If I could be in an office talking to people on the phone, which was what I did, because you guys know how much I love yapping, I thought that was fucking awesome. But it was like, it wasn't so great moving up. I got, to Mary's point, I got paid more. But the quality of life wasn't there anymore. Bill says, I just like the way Biden wasn't in my face every day and it passed the reality show media off. And it pissed the reality show media off, I'm assuming you meant. They just give me a break, CNN, when Ross from Friends on What's He Up To since Band of Brothers. Did CNN have Ross from Friends on? Bill says, here in Cali, I hardly ever see Gavin Newsom on the local news. Switch to the 24/7 cable news. I see him within 15 minutes. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Will Trump invade Mexico? I asked, will Trump invade Mexico? 14 folks voted, 36% said yes, 64% said no. I think, I know he had run his mouth about it in that presser that I'm not going back to, but I mean, if he's talking about it, then that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, Mexico, unfortunately, doesn't have the luxury of NATO coming to their rescue, or the rest of NATO, I should say, coming to their defense, on fucking moral grounds like we see here in Greenland. Bill says he voted no. I don't know. Bill, I think I said at the beginning, I don't know where I would vote. I'm not sure I would have an answer for that. So I can certainly see and understand your no vote. I don't know, like, Bill, real quick, I'm ready to sign off, but who do you think it would be a bridge too far for? Like the Republicans? Because, I mean, there's not going to be any pushback from the international community, right? Well, there's not going to be any real pushback from the international community. You might get some other Latin American countries that are going to say, hey, this is wrong, whatever, right? Honestly, it's not just shtick, you guys. I really feel like if Trump has the opportunity to benefit financially from the drug trafficking, he will. Has it stopped? Have you guys, when was the last time a boat was blown up? Are you saying because Maduro was arrested that all that seized? We're just no more policing the Caribbean, and like Maduro's VP has the country all cleaned up? I mean, it's insane. We've totally, and the media, guilty as fuck. They totally have moved on, and I get it. Trump drops a lot of piles of shit, and there's a lot of stuff to report on. And you pick and choose, I guess, what the hot topics are, but Venezuela's, the whole shit on Venezuela has went completely quiet, hasn't it? Mary says, Rick Scott and DeSantis have both mentioned bombing Mexico, not recently, but during campaigns. Yeah. Kate says, I think he would get more pushback from Greenland than Mexico, NATO as the reason. Yeah. Yeah, I think the whole Greenland thing is pretty much over. There's no fucking way. They're not going to sell the country. And we're not going to invade them. I'm hoping that we can safely believe that and say that now. Doesn't mean that he's not going to continue to cause havoc over Greenland in whatever ways he can. But for sure, I don't feel like there's going to be much resistance to Trump with whatever he may want to do in Mexico. I mean, look at it. We were fucking bombing fucking boats, just murdering people. And I'm not saying, nobody said that any of these people weren't drug traffickers. We just don't know. We just don't know. I mean, there's been no evidence provided, and that's just, it goes back to what we are as Americans. Is that how we're handling things? Bill says there's already pushback over Greenland threatening Canada. Going into Mexico, it'd be too far for Americans and the Western world. Yeah, I mean, I see your point there, brother, and I think that there would certainly be pushback. I just, I think it's sad that there's no way in hell the Western world holds Mexico in the same regards as they do Canada, for sure, and even Greenland being population of 56,000 people. But yeah, I love the opinions, you guys. I do, and sometimes please don't take it personally if I push back on shit or disagree. Right? I know you don't. All right, you guys have wasted another perfectly good 2 hours and 5 minutes of your time that you're never going to get back, but I appreciate you. We have 286 days and 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 3 seconds until the midterm elections. Make sure you're all registered up. Get somebody else to register. Bring them to the polls with you, right? I don't give a fuck who they are, what party they want to vote for. If you got 5 people that have never voted or aren't registered, but you're sure that they would probably vote Republican, get them to the polls. Get them registered. Right? Because I think that certainly for me it was, because I hadn't voted in for so long, that voting in this last general election was really moving for me, and I'm completely excited about voting in the midterms, turning more people on here, my neighbors, some friends and family that haven't voted regularly. It's motivating. It's re-energizing. So do that. Make sure you're registered. Come at these people with as much love and understanding and listening ears on as you can. Tell them straight up. If they know you're a fucking anti-Trumper or a never-Trumper, or you're just a sane liberal voter, tell them I'm not looking to get you to vote for who I vote for. I just want you to register and vote and start taking responsibility and participating in our political system, because it's important, and we see that now. It's impossible I don't see how anybody could say that my vote doesn't count or it doesn't matter who we have in office anymore. I think that's, at least from a common sense point of view, seeing what Trump has done is the best example of why it matters to vote, right? Absolutely. All right. I love you guys. Be good. I will see you on the next one. Don't forget, I think I said tomorrow to somebody, and it's Thursday morning, the 22nd, we are going to stream the Jack Smith. We're going to stream the Jack Smith hearing. So I hope you all join me for that. It should be a pretty fucking crazy time, right? It's going to be good. I tell you what, if Trump is going to attack Mexico or invade or do any sort of operations there, I think Thursday might be the day, right? Like, he's going to need some sort of distraction. All right, you guys be good. I'll see you soon, okay? TV2 out. Said we're fun, don't you ever call me again. Here's my number just in case, 'cause you know we'll always be friends. And I found what I was looking for all of this time. It was always right here in front of my eyes. She said, I finally found it. She said, I finally found it. She said, I finally found what I was looking for, what I was looking for. She said, I finally found it. She said, I finally found it. She said, I finally found what I was looking for. Said we had fun, now don't you ever call me again. I'll be around just in case, 'cause you know we'll always be friends. this road too many times. The answer's always been right here in front of my eyes. She said I finally found it. She said I finally found it. She said I finally found what I was looking for. She said I finally found it. She said I finally found it. She said I finally found what I was